Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, everybody. This is the Board of Selectmen meeting for the town of Dayton, regular meeting on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017. So I'd like to call the meeting to order, and our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, we'll start with public input because there's no public except for the two people that are already going to make a presentation, I guess. I just want to say one thing, though. You know, last weekend, for those of you that were around town, it was a busy weekend. And, you know, we had the Boy Scouts do the pancake breakfast. We had the town cleanup that was headed up by Donna Zagrafis and Vicky Piazza. We had the Dayton Lions auction. There was something else.
Rabies clinic.
The rabies clinic.
And the library information.
In the library information thing. So, you know, when I see that, I mean, that really speaks to what our town is all about. I mean, there's so much going on here, and there's so many people involved in different things that it really makes you feel good to live in a town like Dayton, because there's so much community interaction and stuff. So I appreciate all the folks that did all that. So
I wanted to just add, Mr. Chairman, I had received a lot of favorable comments that at every event there was representation from the board, and I know Selectman Goulart had attended the auction, I believe, and the rabies clinic, and you had attended 2 events. I attended 2, and I think people like that. They like seeing us out there. So I just wanted to toot the Board of Selectmen's horn on that.
okay, that's great.
Good work, everybody.
There has been criticism when events take place, and, you know, so.
But we have,
good
you know,
idea.
we're humans, we have interests too,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. You know what I didn't do? Did you make a copy of the list of the people that participated? Do you have that?
I didn't, but
You do?
Oh.
Okay, can I?
go Karen.
One of the big events that Donna Zagrafis and Vicky Piazza put together was the town cleanup, and there was so many people involved in that I'm going to just, well, I can't probably get everybody, but let me just mention a few names. And if I left anybody out, it's not intentional. We appreciate what y'all did. Tom Medeiros was there. He's one of our EMT firefighters. He was there with the Dayton Junior firefighters. They participated. We had Chris McGee, Darcy McGee, Colin McGee, Brody McGee. Are they all related to you?
Yeah, all Chris's children.
Great, okay.
Team McGee.
Mrs. McGee was at the auction.
Yes, she was. Ian Easter, Cam DeMedios, Nathan Poor, Justin Dagnault, Kyle Medeiros, and Jamie Medeiros. There was, people contributed, you know, there was contributions for water and fruit and some food. And we had contributions from Jay and Lee Procaccini, Lee Procaccini Quinn, Tommy Borkin, Karen and Ralph Potter, Beth and Ken Johnson, the Police Officers Union, Dennis McGurk got some donations from them, and also from Hannaford's. And they were very, huh? It wasn't from Hannaford's? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. So it all came from the police union. They purchased it. Wow, good. But again, that shows you what kind of town we have here, so. And then, at the end, the group was able to donate some bags and to each resident of the Dayton nursing home, which were these cloth bags. They had all that in it.
They were trash bags for the car. Let's say I love Dayton on them.
Yeah.
They were black with white lettering, and we had 30 to give to each resident of the nursing home.
Wow, nice.
Filled with something.
Yeah,
And the rest of the stuff went to prime time.
yeah, good. And then we have people I didn't mention, Rebecca.
These were the volunteers.
Yeah, Rebecca Boulay, Tom, Catherine DeMosa, Linda Gracia, Rachel Conti, plus 3 of her cohorts, Jonathan Gray, Brett, Tamara Jones, Stacy Combs, Linda Gracia, Jeanette Donovan, Tina Priera, Andy Eckerson, and 2 others, Matthew and Joe. Vicky, Don Zagrafis, West Dayton Christian Church brought some folks, and the Dayton Community Church also brought some folks up.
What roads were, what streets? Does it say?
You know they did Tremont, right?
Tremont, 138
One group
Elm.
that we had did Tremont. Another group did Horton and Maple. A couple of groups did 138.
Someone did Elm and Wellington as well.
That's good.
Yeah, a lot of them picked
You know
where,
how many bags there were?
I know we got
Oh.
6 alone, just
A lot of
the area
that.
we
Yeah.
did.
I saw some on 138.
Yeah.
You know, the people that help clean up are not the problem, but you know, the theme was, from what I heard, you know, little nip bottles all over the place.
I had
So,
full wine bottles.
wine bottles.
Oh, yeah, there were some full bottles.
So I would just ask people, you know, think about what you're doing before you toss anything out of the car, because, you know, it's, you know, leave it in the car, take it home, throw it in the trash.
The only thing I'd like to add though is last year we had the cleanup as well. And I know last year we did Tremont Street and my husband helped. And we went really deep in.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, we got air mattresses, we got
Oh, yeah.
bicycles, we got bicycle tires. And this year, not nearly.
Oh, that's good.
Nearly as bad to go in deep and clean the same spot. We got 6 bags.
Excellent.
But at least we didn't have to go as deep, so
Yeah,
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, so, well, we'll do it every year, and also I heard from some people, they didn't know about it, they might have sent a group, so maybe we'll get it next year. You guys did a great job, and we really appreciate that.
Mr. Ferry did say it was a bigger turnout than last year. I couldn't judge, I wasn't at last year, but I was at this year.
It was about 40 people, I think, in total.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, great, thank you for your efforts in that. Okay, we've also asked Mr. Dennis McGee, the chairman of the Dayton Police Station Building Committee, to kind of give everybody an update on where they're at and what's going on, so.
I'll do that.
McGee?
First, I also offer, this is the, I think Brett, thanks to Brett, and I thank you for doing the postings for us for our website minutes.
Happy to.
And for monthly, I try to do a monthly, but it's getting to the point where, you know, where the progress is.
It's tough now, because you're,
By the
yeah.
process, you're gonna get it
I
every
understand.
2 months, still, board of selection, update with these kind of things. So I think you posted this, with the last one. And what do you post that on, Facebook or
on the town's official website.
on the town official website? So this is for those that didn't have it, this is the latest. You probably go to the website, so have you seen this? This is the latest revised schedule. Now, nothing much has changed in our schedule since, if you attended the October 4th or the 27th presentation. Generally, everything in there is still viable. This schedule, though, is a little more aggressive, only because by the time we got the notice of proceed to start, it was the 7th of March for our first meeting, and I made sure, as soon as I knew that Karen and everybody had signed, she told me that they had signed off, that we wanted to set up the first meeting. So we're gonna have our 4th meeting on the 9th of May. It's posted for the 9th of May. So what I wanted to say, though, is that the way people can get information is from the town website now on our police station committee web, and that's the posted minutes after they've been approved. After they've been approved by motion, you can get them. You can get information if you want to know anything financial. If you don't think it's on that door down the hall, the town accountant's door, oh my God, it's all about the police station. It's from, and right now, we are operating on what was called free cash until such time as we actually get to the point, which is after the bidding, where we can say that we actually are going to award to a contractor So it doesn't make any sense not to have an award and have a bond, and you don't have to pay on the bond.
Mr. McGee, I just want to add, so basically what you're saying, and this is more for the folks out there,
Yeah.
what you're saying is by paying out of free cash and not going out to bond, we're actually saving money because we're not having to pay that interest
Yes.
on the bond, correct?
Yeah, but
Okay.
you know, I'll act naive on that because I think that maybe somebody that's finance can explain that better. You might have explained it 100% accurately, but I don't know that. See, as long as I know that there's funding and you want me to complete a job, I'll just say, I need the funding to pay these people. And right now, who we're paying is the designers, the design team.
Correct.
Tecton and Pomeroy, those that went to the meetings, met the designers. Okay, so what happens is, yes, those fees are, but I don't know anything about how, we're gonna save somehow, but I don't know exactly how that's
I
gonna.
think what Brett said is,
Let's go with Brett said.
It's basically that you're using cash that is, and I don't want to say the word free, because nothing's ever free.
We're using available
It's available
funds.
funds, exactly, instead of taking a loan out and having interest.
It would be like if you were building a house and you had a nest egg, and then you had a mortgage. You wouldn't borrow the money from the bank, actually take it until you use the nest egg that you had set aside, because you're saving the interest. And you
Yeah.
will start paying interest when you accept the mortgage, which is what you're talking about.
Yes. So basically, the other item that they can, you can always come to, of course, our meetings end up, because it's convenient for the committee too, but they end up being usually on a Tuesday, at 10 a.m. Okay, like the next meeting is this coming, the 9th, and it will be at 10 a.m. usually in this room or downstairs, depending on what the availability is. And as far as the reason, the schedule, I would expect that if you looked at this schedule and you said, well, where are you? Well, we're meeting this schedule and trying to beat it a little bit. Now, somebody would say, well, why is it taking you so long? Well, what we have to do is revamp. There's 2 volumes like this of what they call the manual for specifications for this project. It's over 1,000 pages, not double-sided. That I counted that if you imagine this would be about a ream, and there's 1,000 pages in this of specifications. There's 2 volumes. So I would say it's well over 1,000 pages I could count. This right here is the critical part. This is the plans. Okay, every page of this plan now, where it was a 6,000 square foot building, right, roughly before, is now 8,564 square feet. So every page, from the cover page to the end, has to be scrutinized to go off the bid, and has to be changed by professionals. So there's 87 pages plus a cover page, and I expect it will be about the same size. Okay, this is the actual plans. This is the most critical item, the specification and the plans of what they bid on. And if you get this, if you try to exceed or go too fast on this stuff, and they go off a bid, they're gonna eat you alive, and you'll have a bad bid. So these have got to be 95%. That'd be great to be 95% accurate between these books, and this, the specification of this, and whatever's in this is said to be this, and they can use either one of them as gospel. The plans can supersede the specs, or the specs can supersede the plans. But what happens with this is that you go back to all your engineering. You go back to your structural, your civil, your structural, and then you go back through your architectural. Those are really controlled almost by the architect at his side. But then the architect has to take them to the engineer that he retains. And each engineering, the mechanical, the plumbing, and electrical, has to rechange every page of this for the way it's outside now. That's 8,000. So you have to go through every page and make sure that they're accurate. Because when you go off a bid, you advertise in the Central Register. And that bidding process alone is like 5 weeks. Okay, so you have to have 2 weeks just for advertising in the Central Register, and then people start to pick them up. 13 file subbids will pick up these plans. So these plans and these drawings are online by a private company who is orchestrated. That's why an OPM is so important.
No, an OPM is a project manager.
Yeah, the project manager, our owner's project manager orchestrates all this for us. We had an excellent bid the last time it went out. It's just that the one that came in too high. Okay, and we would have gotten 5,384 square feet. And now we're gonna be getting a bigger building and hopefully coming within budget. So that's, and by the way, this time there's no, as far as I'm concerned, the budget has to be what it is now. So we all know what that is. If you attended, it's $5,946,384. Okay? So that's what it is, that's what it's gonna be. Some of it's being expended because through the free cash has to be paid back. Okay? So that, we're gonna live according to that budget. So where we're at right now is that on this document, these will be reread over by, and managed by the architect and the OPM. They'll scrutinize every page of this and make sure the dates, the timing, every page is read. They'll also go through this formally, because I no offense to a committee, but if you're gonna build a building like this and you have this kind of critical, construction, you have to get it right. So we are managing, we're trying to help out in any way we can but yet the professionals are gonna make sure that this is done according to the way we see it outside, okay, and professionally. But where we're at now, though, is roughly 30%. The next meeting we have, I'm gonna expect that 30%, these are called construction documents, okay, the plans and the specs. We're at 30% development on these, okay? Now, where you see that on the schedule, we're by June, we're gonna be at 90% construction documents for review by everybody. Now, that means that all of us have a chance to review, critical people that help out with that, the building commissioner, the fire department, they all get to review the documents for final comments. I'll review them, and they'll be reviewed critically by the OPM and their team, including the specification.
Great.
Do you mind if I ask
Go
you a
ahead.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So 2 things, and one of these questions is more for the people watching. How did and for me too, actually, how did the schematic design and design development phases go? Did that go well? And are you happy with the product that was produced after the schematic design phase?
Yeah, the product is going to be basically the drawings that come out of that, okay? And we haven't gotten to see yet much of anything but the architectural. So yes, schematic design was done real quick because the schematic was outside. And then we just verified.
So you'll stay true to that?
Yeah, we stayed true to that. We had a slight change in one of the rooms in the building that somebody caught, but other than that, the square footage stayed and the footprint stayed exactly in the same location. No shifting. We thought we had to shift it. We would want to shift it. The building's going to stay exactly where it is. So that went well, and then now we're into getting the engineers back on board and getting them to work on these pages. So the architectural and structural had to change because we talked about attic and the insulation and all this stuff, new technology that comes up.
Nice.
With that. So we're doing real well, and everybody's satisfied with where we're at this point in time.
I wanted to ask you one other question. You said in June, around 90% of the construction documents would be done, and I'm asking because I really don't know. At what point, if you need to go in front of other boards and committees for different, I don't know, approvals and things like that, at what point does that happen?
Well, right now, at this, I reminded the architect who wanted to meet with Jim Aguirre on the 9th of May for coordination back to the zoning board of appeals for the variances that has to be renewed, and then the planning board, and he's gonna coordinate with us to make that go smooth, okay? Because, they're gonna start, I hope that they can meet, but I reminded them a week ago, did he contact Jim, because he wanted to meet him on the 9th after the meeting, coming Tuesday. So that and the DOT application has to be started all over. Okay, so that's all in the makings with the civil engineer and all that stuff, so that's part of the process, and we're making sure that it goes smoothly, and with Jim, I think it will, to help us out with that.
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
most people have seen this, but I just wanted to, this is still.
Yeah, that's it, that's good.
That's the schematic of what the police station building is gonna look like,
Wrong camera, Kate?
once it's done.
There you go.
There we go.
So that's what it's gonna look like when it's done, and it's a very attractive looking building, and much more functional certainly than what they have down there now, so,
Oh, yeah,
so.
yeah, it's,
This is it's up in the lobby of the town hall, if anybody wants to come up and look at it. Also, the schematic of the room layout is there as well, so. Okay?
And the difference now between what happened before with the budget and the way we did it was on August 5th of 2016, which wasn't too far before October, where we decided what the true budget is now and went to the people for 2.6 million more dollars. That was done with a professional estimate by companies that everybody uses for. A.M. Fogarty is used for professional estimating. And so they came up with the construction, the one we worried about, the most was having the right price for the construction cost per square foot. So let's say we did that August 5th, 2016. After we get the 90% level drawings, they'll be sent in June, probably the first part of June or no later than the middle of June. They'll send them back to A.M. Fogarty for another reality check. Meaning that when you if you looked at the budget that we had for construction, it was the 4 million, this is with contingencies, but it was $525.78 a square foot without the contingencies, and we added for a safety factor $39 more per square foot for contingencies, which brought us up to $565 per square foot. Now here's good news in a way. Millboro, their 15,000 square foot building on April 12th came in on bid. Now came in on bid low. So their 15,000 square foot building, without maybe the contingencies that they might have had in it, came in at $477 a square foot.
Wow.
So Millboro was happy. They had some extra money. They could get everything that they wanted, including some kind of storage garage that was detached from the building. So that just happened April 12th. We're hoping, and A.P. Whitaker out of Bridgewater, Mass. got the job. And we know A.P. Whitaker from using them at the college. They did a nice job for us on our, if you haven't seen our renovations to our campus center, the Rondo Campus Center, that made the front and the entry, if you remember back, and then look at it now. They did that job. And so it was a big job. So anyway, we're hoping that atmosphere stays.
Let's hope.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's now if you look at the schedule, we're gonna be meeting those timelines now.
Maybe you could just, go through the timeline a little bit,
Yeah,
just so people at home can.
The timeline, I just mentioned that we'd be ready for critique at 90% of this drawings in June, they'll go out to Ann Fogarty for a reality check, and if everything goes well with that, meaning that their cost per square foot falls within our 565 that we estimated, that they estimated for us before, then we are gonna be considered good. If it doesn't, we would have to go back for value engineering, because we're gonna have to anticipate that they're gonna be accurate on their bid, on their quote, because they gave us the quote to get the budget. So value engineering would mean that it would take us a couple of meetings to go back to the actual layout of the building, and what we have in it, and the size, and say to ourselves, we're gonna have to bring it down to be within the square footage that their estimate is. And it's all about construction cost.
Right, yeah.
So when that happens, that would be, if that doesn't happen, we're just gonna move on, and then if you look at the timeline, we're gonna be somewhere in July, and in the August timeframe, going out to bid. Remember, I said it was 5 weeks? So if you look at the bidding timeframe, we would be out to bid, and the first thing is advertise in the Central Register, then the 13 file sub-bids bring in their prices, and then the GC takes those prices and combines them into the general contractor comes in second, and the general contractor combines those prices into the large price for the construction cost. That's when the bids are open, and in 2 different phases for file sub bids, so we know what those are, and we can share them with the GC. They share with the GC, and then
That's gonna be in
so by
October, right?
by the September timeframe, if everything goes right, we are now trying to qualify and award a bid. So during that half month of the end of September, we're qualifying and getting a GC on board. Then the construction starts for a whole year, starting say October by the time they set up, and so we anticipate that for 12 months, so October to the end of September of 18. All right, and then we have what they call project closeout, to make sure everything is 100% and operating correctly. So that's to November. And if everything goes right, we'll be opening and having a grand opening between November and December. So if you looked at the schedule in the October when we did that, we were into December with the closeout, you know what I mean, and grand opening.
Yeah.
So we're trying to beat that a little.
Good.
You know, so, but we are doing well with that. So
That looks good. I mean, we're on schedule so far, so.
we're on schedule. I'm optimistic that everything's gonna go well with the estimate that we're gonna get from AM Fogarty. And if it does, then, if it doesn't, we'll have to react to that.
Let's assume that it does.
Yeah, assume it does, and we stay within the budget, actually.
Okay.
So-
And, well, great, thank you very much. I think what we might do, occasionally just ask you to come back and
Okay.
give us an update so everybody can, that seems to be the big question that I get asked, where are the police stations? So,
The idea on what's taking so long, even one of our members keeps saying, shouldn't it be faster? I say, well, if you don't get this right and you go off a bid, and the bidders, they're so hungry, every bidder, including the file sub bid,
Yep.
that they'll pick up on a nasty, the corrections, you'll have a load of what they call addendums.
Right.
And you might have to throw the whole thing out and then rebuild it.
Right.
So this is gonna be, these documents are gonna be accurate, and we had accuracy last time, we had a good bid other than the cost.
I think the important thing is now we have a schedule, and you've kind of laid it out, so the public knows what the timeframes are gonna be, and then we just ask you to come back and update that,
Yep.
and if things get better or worse, we'll make sure everybody is aware of that.
I also wanted to add, I think that the folks who might be asking, quote unquote, what's taking so long, I don't hear it asked like that. I hear it asked, how is it progressing is more the questions I hear. I think those might be people who aren't following the process. So I want everybody to know that Mr. McGee, Chairman McGee, has been gracious enough to submit the minutes for the website, to often write reports almost every month. I don't know how long you'll keep that up, but you have done it. The information is out there for people who want to find it. You can visit the committee's webpage. The information is all there for people who are curious. So I just wanted to let everyone know and to thank you for being so open and you know, being transparent about everything.
And I guess the other thing is, if you have questions about it, you can always call the selectman's office, and we can get the question to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
and anybody has a question, yeah,
Get it back.
and they're welcome to come into one of our meetings and sit through it and see what's actually happening at that point in time. So, but, you know, like I said, we're optimistic that this is gonna go well, and so far with the new borough coming in like that, it's a good sign. You know, so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
Mr.
thanks
McGee.
for your work and all the committee work.
Absolutely.
So that's May 9th at 10 a.m. in Town Hall. If anyone would like to attend the meeting.
Okay, the next issue on our agenda is report from the Town Administrator Committee. Rothfuss is going to bring us up to date on what's going on with that.
Dead Sea Scroll.
Little late reading, Mr. McGee?
I'm used to carrying these things. Thank you, have a good evening.
Wish I exercised for the day.
Donna, when you begin, maybe you could just tell us who's on your committee.
Peter Roach is our chairman, Vicky Piazza, myself, and Tom Bachwin. I'm probably saying your name wrong.
This-
Bachwin.
Scott Dingus is on that
Scott
committee
Dingus.
as well.
I know they haven't,
We had the...
He's
yeah.
on the committee,
He's on the, yeah,
correct.
okay. I only made one set, but this is just a
Oh, I have mine,
copy
yeah.
of what I emailed. I didn't know if anyone else, if you all had a set. I wasn't sure if Karen, if I allotted her enough time to get copies to everyone. I felt bad,
yeah,
but
he said.
my day was busy.
You can
So
just-
I think the cover letter pretty much summed it all up.
Maybe just go through, don't need to read it, but just summarize what you've done, yeah.
So we were asked to keep an aggressive timeline because we needed to allow enough time for Board of Selectmen to go through.
Let me just make one comment, so people that aren't aware of what's gone on. At the last annual town meeting last June, the town voted to have a town administrator and provide the funding for that town administrator. So this committee's been working very hard, particularly in the first go-around, we didn't really get the applicants that we needed to make a decision. This go-around, they've been working diligently for the last month, at least I know of, and before that, to try and get this done so we can move forward, and with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Yes, well, we had a total of 58 resumes, and they narrowed them, and it was narrowed down to 15 applicants that the board met on. We did have we call it a scoring sheet. The very first TA committee used that, so it was just brought forward. And it was just a way to see who checked off on the criteria that you needed, that was also in the ad. And then we had a set of questions, and those were really just a guideline. Sometimes we asked right from the questions, sometimes it was a matter of looking at someone's resume and not seeing something, or seeing something and wanting more clarification, like a capital project they might have worked on, grant writing. And then from there, we decided, we whittled it down to 9, and we set up telephone interviews over 2 days last week for them. We did have one individual who was traveling. We actually had his interview last night. There was no way to get him in last week on either of those days. And from there, we whittled it down to 8, which is what we are presenting to the Board of Selectmen. We think they're 8 excellent candidates. They hit all the right criteria. Surprisingly, a lot of them had either Board of Selectmen experience, town manager, or has been a TA. Though one of them was a much smaller town. I think they only had 400 people in the town. It swells to 2,000 in the summer. Some of the candidates are really interested because they have family in this area, so they want to be back in this area. That's it. We whittled it down to 8, and we feel good about them, and we think you're going to get your TA from that 8.
Well, good. We thank you very much for doing that. So we just got the resumes and
Right.
recommendations. So
Yep.
as a board, we'll be looking through the resumes, and then we'll meet and go over and decide who we want to bring in to interview and get the process going. Hopefully, we can get this done. I'm always optimistic. Always takes longer than you think it's going to take when you start hiring people, but we hope to get it done as soon as possible. Because I think, my 4 weeks up here, we need the town administrator to help with some of the administrative work going on because,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Karen's actually a town administrator right now.
Acting town.
Acting town administrator.
So anyway, again, thank you so much for your work, and we
Thank you.
appreciate this, and we appreciate
Thank you. It was a
how hard you
pleasure.
Can I ask you one question? I know the committee had a ranking sheet and had like preferences for certain candidates. Are you submitting that to the board so that the board knows? Like, do you want the board to know how you rank the candidates, or just that
It
they were
was
good
just-
enough
it was-
to be submitted?
It was more like those were our notes. They were like personal notes just to see where, because when you have so many like that, how do you choose?
So
So the ranking sort of helped us, guide us down
Sure.
to who we were gonna take to interview.
So your committee would be okay if any of these 8 individuals was hired as the new town
Absolutely.
administrator? Okay.
Yeah,
So you're not going to give us a priority in your mind,
No,
which is fine. And what we might do if we get to a candidate, we want to ask you more about your.
absolutely. We could, yeah, because I know myself, I took notes while we were interviewing them. But they really, there were 3, if I had to say, the 3 the first night were very strong. But the other 4 or the other 5 we had later that we spoke with were also strong. There were just 3 that when we spoke to them, sometimes when you're doing an interview, it just flows and they hit all the right notes.
You get a feeling.
Exactly. But all 8 were strong.
Okay, great.
I think you'll find too, and I think Donna will agree, that some had some strong procurement.
Oh, there were a lot with procurement, especially those that had BOS experience,
Which is a plus.
or town manager, or town administrator.
They got the certification also.
Yes, exactly. So there were a lot with procurement. Interestingly enough, we were looking for people, according to the ranking sheet or the scoring sheet, with Board of Health experience. And we learned that most of the people that we spoke to, that's a whole separate thing. They never, they have no responsibility to that person, not even like a liaison. It was really interesting. We were a
Since
little.
we separated the Board of Health from the Board of Selectmen, that's a little different now. So
Yes,
that's good.
yes, exactly. But we stand by them. I mean, we're quite happy with the 8 candidates. And one right now is still a selectman in Abington.
In Abington.
Yeah, he will not, he's up next year, he's not running again. We asked him about that, if it occurred this year, I'm hoping it's gonna occur this year.
Oh, yeah, it will.
He'd have to leave, and he was fine with that, so.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, committee.
The whole committee, thank you so much.
Okay. Old business, we have no old business?
I don't think so.
Okay. We'll move on to new business. Request from the highway superintendent for approval of emergency purchase of steel plates for the culvert repair. This was something that came up last week and then beginning of this week. There's a road collapse going on over on Horton Street. So Mr. Ferry had to go out and buy some steel plates so we could put it on the road so the road doesn't collapse and we can keep it open. And so we had to make an emergency purchase of those steel plates. He'd been borrowing them, but this is going to be more of a long-term thing. It's going to last. The water flow has to go down before they can make the repair. So it'll be into the summer well into the summer before they can do that. So he asked for approval, we gave him the approval, but I just want to formalize that now. So somebody want to make a motion to approve this purchase?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Tom, for working on that so quickly. Okay, the next item of a new business, road opening permit for the North Dayton Fire District at the corner of Spring Street and Andrews Street. Thank you. And this is from Richard Treacy from the North Dayton Fire District. North Dayton Fire District requests permission for road opening permit at the corner of Spring and Andrews to replace a leaking valve near 465 Forest Street to replace a leaking blow-off. District, thank you for your consideration.
Did you say Forest?
Yeah, near 465 Forest.
It says Spring and Andrews.
Yeah, it is at Spring and Andrews, but it's near 465 Forest. I don't know where Spring and Andrews, I know where Spring is, I don't know where Andrews.
Andrews is the next one up from St. Nicholas Church. It doesn't go near Forest.
Okay, well,
Is it one or two?
it's one.
One. I thought it was like the border up. It's two, they're looking for two. They're saying road opening permit at the corner of Spring and Andrews to replace the leaking valve, and near Forest Street,
To replace the
465,
leaking
to replace the
blow-off.
leaking
Okay.
blow-off. So I think it's two locations.
It's two locations, okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we grant the request of the North Dayton Fire District for the work on Andrews and Spring Streets and near 465 Forest Street as requested.
Thank you.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll sign these. The next one, we have another road opening permit for Dayton Water District at 166 Walker Street.
Thank you.
This is to install a new water service to property located at 166 Walker Street.
Make the motion to approve.
I second that.
Motion is second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. I'll do that afterwards. The next one, we have a request from the police chief to carry over 10 vacation days from FY 2017 to FY 2018.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the request from the police chief to carry over 10 vacation days from fiscal year 17 to fiscal year 18.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, a lot of these short little things here. Payment designation authorization form.
Thank you.
We're making Karen type very quickly. What are we doing here?
Oh, that's a form that every department has to sign. In the
Okay.
event that the chairman is not available to sign a document such as, it's a payment thing, like a
Right.
bill that needs,
Yeah.
so you have to appoint somebody else.
Right, other than myself?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. somebody can sign in lieu of you,
Right.
approve a bill or something like that, not contracts and stuff.
Right.
Unless you were totally disabled and
Right.
couldn't,
Yeah.
do your duties.
So I guess what I will do is I'll step down and nominate both Selectman Zagrafis and Selectman Goulart to authorize for payment designation, an authorization form in my absence.
Okay, I'll second it.
If you second.
No, I seconded the whole motion,
I
so
need
now
the
he
motion.
just has to call.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for something from you. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, gotta wake up here. Okay, the Serpent Technical Assistance Agreement.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the community compact grant that Serpent applied for on behalf of the town of Dayton. They get the money, they provide technical assistance to us, and when I talked to Grant King, he told me there's 2 copies, so we each will have an original copy. And this outlines what they're going to do for the $10,000, how they will complete the tasks, and what the actual documents will be that they provide. And this relates specifically to 3 best practices that we've discussed. One is public education regarding stormwater. Second one is public education regarding contamination and solid waste. And a third one that's tentative is to, I will best describe it as strengthen the town's ADA policy relative to making facilities ADA compliant and accessible.
Americans with Disability Act, in case you haven't, not familiar with it.
So once we vote, then one goes back to them, one goes in our file, and a meeting is set up so we can just go over what they are going to do, what we have to do, and how we put the whole thing together. But it's basically the community compact cabinet. The other thing I will mention is, once this gets sent in, assuming we get everything done that we need to, once this is approved by the governor, and the town of Dayton becomes a community compact cabinet member, this opens up opportunities now, because a lot of the state agencies that have grant money available, they designate that you either be a compact member or be willing to go through the process. So we're going through the process. And there are some potential grants out there. But the first grant we've got already, we got the $10,000.
Good, great. Yeah, for those you who don't know what Serpent is the Southeastern Regional Planning and Economic Development District. So, got all these acronyms that are floating around that,
They're our go-to people.
yeah. And sometimes, excuse us, but sometimes, we'll use the acronym assuming people know what it means, and, so anyway, we'll try to be clear with it, but anyway, so I'll entertain a motion to move forward with this.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the Serpent Technical Assistance Agreement.
I'll second it.
Got motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And Selectman Goulart's going to be our contact person, or,
So we'll give you little updates as we go along, so you'll know what's happening.
okay, and now, let's go to the correspondence first, and then we'll come back a little bit to announcements, because they're, would you read it?
Sure. This is just correspondence we received from Comcast regarding channel lineup information changes. It's dated the 21st of April, 2017, to the Board of Selectmen. Dear Chairman and members of the Board, as part of our continuing effort to keep you informed, I wanted to share with you the following. On June 22nd, 2017, RTPI will no longer be available on channel 97, but will continue to be available on channel 94. Customers are receiving this information in advance via bill message. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me at 884-2326. Sincerely, Robert F. Sullivan, Senior Manager of Government Affairs with Comcast. By the way, Robert Sullivan, for everybody watching, is our go-to Comcast person. He's been really good to the town. I know he's helped several residents who were experiencing some issues with Comcast service. So he's really good. So if you have any questions, please direct them to Mr. Sullivan at Comcast.
Excellent. And then we have another correspondence regarding the Massachusetts Home Modification Loan Program. Do you know what it is? Okay.
It's that time of the year, folks. I've mentioned this before. There are funds available should you need to modify your home in order to accommodate somebody in the household who has either a disability or becomes disabled. It also includes the kind of changes or adaptations you might have to make to your home if you have a person who becomes ill and you're caring for them at home. The Executive Office of Health and Human Services, Mass Rehab Commission, is the organization, and there are low-interest loans, and there may be also some grant money. But the main thing is, as I've announced in previous years, you have the information here. If you find yourself in a circumstance where you would like to care for somebody in your home as opposed to putting them into assisted living or nursing facilities, but you have to make modifications, please get in touch with the Selectmen's office, because we can provide you with the contact information so that you can look into it and hopefully be able to either get a 0 or a 3% loan, up to $30,000 to be able to do this. So this is very important, should the need arise.
You know, think about these kinds of things too. If you have any thought that you might need this, come down and look at this and get in contact with this, with the people that run this program, because you never know. A lot of people don't think they're eligible for it, or they really don't need it, and it's there for people that can use it and can make a difference in your lives or your loved ones' lives. So.
And the state has really stepped up too, because when we were dealing with my mother's situation, there was no home health. Now they have home health programs and aids, and this is just one more for actual physical changes to the house.
Yeah. I mean, part of these programs are designed to keep people in their homes longer, so they don't have to go to long-term care facilities or go into the hospital. So the state steps up. Even Medicare is much more open to funding things that will keep people in their homes. It's a much cheaper way to go. It's much better for the patient, much better for the family. So, okay. What else we got? Why don't we go to the announcements? Why don't you start off there, Mr. Zografis?
Thank you. Trash bags, sharps, disposal containers, and recycling stickers are all for sale at the Board of Selectmen's office. Please call 508-669-6431 for more information. There are vacancies on the Historical Commission, Cable Commission, Land Use Committee, Green Communities Grant Committee, and the Cemetery Commission. Also, the Community Preservation Committee has an opening for a Historical Commission representative and a possible opening for an at-large member. Bristol County
Let me just
Sure.
add to that. We're desperate for some volunteers. There's one very critical committee is the Cable Committee. There's only 2 people left on that committee, and when we have 2 or 3 meetings going on at the same time, it really puts a strain on them down there. So it's not hard. It's very interesting. I used to be on that committee. It's very interesting work, and you kind of can see a lot and learn a lot and participate in getting the word out to the public. So I would encourage people, come down and talk to the Cable Committee, come talk to me. And we need all these other committees also, but that one is a hands-on every week. So, thanks.
Absolutely. And if you want your meetings on YouTube, we need to have a Cable Committee.
Absolutely.
So the Bristol County Agricultural High School will be holding their spring exposition on Saturday, May 13th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the address is 135 Center Street in Dayton. Highlights include a farmer's market and a vendor's exposition, live animal exhibits, a gourmet food truck, and a plant sale. Friends of the Dayton Animal Shelter will be holding a garage sale on Saturday, May 20th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. behind Dayton Town Hall. To reserve a space, call 774-228-8940 or 508-400-6667. Proceeds will benefit the animal shelter. Bulky items curbside pickup is scheduled for the week of May 22nd through May 29th. Tags for items are available for sale in the Selectmen's office. This will follow the regular trash schedule, and the flyer has been posted on our Facebook page as well as on our website. The Dayton Fire Association will be hosting a Touch a Truck event on Saturday, June 3rd from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the grounds of Manheim, New England. Free admission to the event. Children can get an up-close look and climb aboard many of the supersized vehicles. Dayton Fire Association will also be collecting donations for the Shriners Hospitals for Children. Manheim will also be hosting a blood drive on Saturday, June 3rd as well. Free pancake breakfast with a blood donation, and you know Dayton loves a good pancake breakfast. The Board of Selectmen will begin their summer meeting schedule on June 7th. The final weekly meeting will be May 31st. There will be no meeting on June 7th and every other week during the summer. Normal meeting schedule will resume on September 6th, 2017.
The other thing I wanted to announce too, we've said this, but the annual town meeting is going to be on June 5th. And this year, every household in Dayton will receive in the mail the warrant that we'll be discussing on that day. So I would encourage you to look at the warrant when you get it. We haven't got it all prepared yet, but and mark June 5th on your calendars as a very important date for you to participate in the town government. So
And how we spend their money.
and how we're spending your money, exactly. So this is your chance. This is one of your chances to really make a difference in town, to ask questions about warrant articles and to. Okay, thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda. We have an anonymous donation in the amount of $30.
Thank you.
This is from Sheila New, from the Assistant Program Manager at Dayton Council on Aging Primetime Supported Day Program. We're pleased to inform you that the Primetime has received a donation in the amount of $30. As usual, all donations are turned over to the town account and deposited in the Primetime gift and donation account. So I would entertain a motion to accept that gift.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I guess we have approval of minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the minutes of the April 5th Board of Selectmen's regular meeting and the April 12th Board of Selectmen regular meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And then we have two warrants to approve.
Mr. Chairman? Oh, sure, absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve warrant number 44A-17 in the amount of $78,140.13 payroll, and warrant 44B-17 in the amount of $104,202.18 accounts payable.
I will second that.
Okay, got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, that's the end of our agenda items.
We missed reports. I don't know if there were any.
Can we get any reports?
I attended a meeting yesterday morning at the Somerset Public Library, sponsored by Mass Municipal Association. It was a presentation on Mass Municipal's, they call it Muni Energy. We talked about the aggregation contract, which is separate, that our residents have been benefiting from, and that the new contract for that has been negotiated through Serpent. So for all of the communities in that, those new rates will become effective this upcoming January, and it will run for 3 years. I believe the increase per kilowatt hour is something like 0.006 cents, so it's 6 mils. The purpose of the program was to let communities know that through Mass Municipal Association, there is a special program that communities, municipalities can get additional discounts for municipal buildings. As much as, the ones that they were talking about, as much as a penny per kilowatt hour. Town manager from Somerset was there was a town manager there from Halifax. The gentleman from Somerset actually was part of this when he was the administrator in Freetown. When he came into Somerset, they wrapped up a 2-year program, and Somerset is now looking at a 5-year commitment for this additional program. So if there's interest on board, I can get in touch with the contact person. She actually lives in Swansea, and set up a meeting so she can come in and explain everything and what the benefits are to the community. And we can discuss not only savings, but they actually allow billings, payments on billings to extend out 55 days instead of the terms on the bill, because some have problems trying to meet those deadlines. And so we,
Yeah, why don't we set that meeting up and then?
Yeah.
I've got more info that I can give you, but I think it's worth talking about.
Absolutely.
There was also another rep there from MMA, and it deals with natural gas. And she said the Columbia Gas Company is one of the companies that is involved with that energy program. So I thought if we start with electricity, see how that goes, we might want to follow on with natural gas.
Great.
Absolutely.
So-
Anything to save money, that's
Exactly.
for sure.
Exactly, especially when you're dealing with big utilities.
Right, exactly. Okay, I guess that wraps up our agenda, unless either of you have anything else to add.
Not this evening.
I want to thank Karen again for keeping us all on track.
There was one other meeting that 4 people from Dayton attended. That was the Combines Expo at Foxborough Stadium a week ago, Thursday. It was, I think we had over 1,000 vendors. It was on both sides of the stadium. It was an exhausting day, but it was time well spent. And we got a lot of information and different kinds of things to help new products. They even had pieces of large equipment inside that Mr. Ferry was looking at, but that was, again, a very good program.
And these, again, go into our attempt to run a more efficient town and get the products that we need at a better price.
Right, and this whole program, it didn't cost us anything, and it was sponsored by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Great,
So, another good thing.
well, thank you. So entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, cable, thank you, public, and we'd love to see somebody come down and talk to us about things, because it's lonely here with nobody in the audience.
You don't like talking about us?
Anyways, thank you, cable.
Thank you.
Good night.